With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome to the Exploring More podcast. The guys are still out on assignment, and so we will continue the training and warfare series. This is part 5.
In the book, we had to put 2 chapters in warfare and 2 chapters in training. And now I got 50 minutes to try to talk about it? Get the book. Get the journal workbook. Hugely helpful, the journal workbook in these stages. So 3 parts of training I want to talk about. We've really talked about one, and I'm not going to labor on it, but number 1 for training in the kingdom, number 1 is healing. Okay, it's healing. The experience of healing, the encountering of Jesus' touch, the recovery of sight for the blind, the deliverance from the prisoners set free, that is all healing. And the experience of your personal healing is going to become the closing distance between biblical theology and personal theology. He came to heal your broken heart and set you free. And when that's your experience and it's now personal and it replaces the boxes that are on the shelf that were toxic and wounding and old, and now the new has come and it is true, and it's not only true in theory, it's now true personally, you become a force. Because you know that John Wayne book is a burning bush. And somehow, some way, Jesus set that book there for the moment that a good man on a good comeback would find it so that he could accomplish forgiveness. Does that sound too good to be true? Yes, and that's why it's true. You cannot make this stuff up. And when you start experiencing it and you start seeing it and hearing it, you'll know there's a Pandora station just for you. And He plays songs that He wants you to hear, not just ones that you want to hear. And you'll take the pen that you've been trying to write your story and you'll give it back to Him to rewrite your story and to carry you forward. 3 parts of training. Healing, second part is the environment that you're in. You have to be trained up in the environment that you're in. If you're going to go to space, are they going to train you up to go to space? They're going to put you in simulators and put you in environments to train you up. If you're going to fly fighter pilot missions, are you going to be trained up in an environment so that you can go accomplish what you need to accomplish? You have to understand the environment, the larger story that you're in order to play your part well. Thirdly, we're going to talk about the equipping, what Dallas Willard was talking about, equipping you with power and authority. If that's what Jesus is doing, what must that imply? That must be what we need. We need power and authority. We need to know how to enforce, defend our hearts, enforce the kingdom. Healing, training in the environment, and training and equipping. Let's go back to Zorro. Did you see him provoke the false self? The instructor actually provoked the false self to bring it up to teach a lesson. That's what Tom was talking about. The enemy's going to overplay his hand sometimes. And those are the times that you see it. And when there's a behavior, I promise you, behind that is some vow and agreement. I'll never be powerless again. I'll always be ready. And behind that is a wound and its message. So from now on, as your false self rears its head, you've got work to do. Don't be surprised if it goes a little dormant for a while. This little creature's sneaky, right? It's going to poke its head out at the most inopportune time. We believe, our team believes, that the healing component takes a couple years, but it's not a wasted couple years. I mean, if it took 40 years to get you in that kind of bondage, doesn't it make sense that maybe a year for every decade is going to take for you to get free? Because you can't just go to a weekend and do it all in a concentrated 3 days. The story's too big, you're too big, God's too big, and the enemy is too good. It's going to take time to see what you need to be freed from and who you need to become, what his names are for you. Right? What are the odds that you've interpreted your life, your story well? Hopefully not anymore. Wouldn't it be great to bat 500? You're on your way. You're going to see and hear and be engaged, and you're on your way. The turn of the tide. Right? I love what JB asked a few years ago. It's still very pertinent, very important. How free do you want to be? When you look at Alejandro, what did you observe about training? Under structure. The master knows what's going on. When you encounter trials of various kinds, knowing that the testing of your faith is to produce. It's not to show you how bad you are or how good you're not. It's actually to reveal to you where we're going and what he wants to entrust to you. How many of you would give your 5 or 6-year-old a chainsaw? Here. Power and authority. I mean, he doesn't know how to wield it. He's not strong enough. The missions that you're on are so that you can get to the next mission and the next mission and the next mission, all under the loving protection and provision of a good Father. See, the enemy wants to jump in and have you misinterpret the heart of the Father just like he did in the garden. God's holding out on you. See, a life without the enemy is impossible to truly understand because there's only one of two people to blame if there's no enemy in your story. And we're good Christian men, so we're not going to blame God. So whose fault is all this shiz? Yours, and now you live under condemnation. It's just me not doing it right. No, the enemy, you have to understand, in this environment, the enemy, Jesus talks about him as the prince of this dark world. See, Adam gave away the keys. When we fell, the world came under a spell. Jesus went and got the keys back. And he's coming back. That's why there's a second coming.
Hey listeners, SJ here. Just wanted to let you know about an upcoming event we've got on the calendar for men. It's called the Heart of a Warrior Encounter West, October 21st through the 24th, 2021, at Young Life's Trail West Camp in Buena Vista, Colorado. It is a beautiful camp, and if you've never been to Colorado, this is a great excuse to visit. That's October 21st through 24th, 2021. And if you want more information, visit zoe.org/events. I hope to see you there.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.